Now let's welcome in Congressman Mike Haridopolos. Congressman, I wanted to get your assessment of where things stand on the big, beautiful bill and whether you're comfortable with the deficit as it exists now. Now, to put this in context, we saw an expanding economy after the pandemic with a president who added $2 trillion each year, fiscal year generally, during an expanding economy instead of trying to shrink that deficit. Having said that, now we're in a situation in which the deficit may not be smaller in the next fiscal year if this bill passes, at least according to the CBO, if it goes through as it stands, at least from the House.
Well, I have no confidence in the CBO, first and foremost. They've been wrong every single time with Donald Trump. As you know, after the 2017 tax cuts, they underestimated the revenues that would come into the government. What I'm focused on is helping people out who've been hurt the last 4 years by higher prices, gasoline, food, rent, you name it. And it had a lot to do with the policies made by the previous administration. In fact, I had the Fed board chairman yesterday, Mr. Powell, and he agreed with me that one of the reasons why inflation got so high was because of the out-of-control spending in Washington, D.C. We are trying to right-size the government right now with the DOGE cuts and also make sure we can grow the economy with the smart tax policy that we're putting in place with the big, beautiful bill.
Congressman, can you clarify exactly what is being done to Medicaid? There's protests on the Hill where you are today. Democrats keep saying that their mothers and grandmothers are going to be losing health coverage if this bill is passed. Can you just set the record straight as what this includes?
Well, let me just be perfectly clear here. And I'm a person who used to be the president of the Senate in Florida. I understand Medicaid like few others. We actually reformed it in the state of Florida. Medicaid will not change for people who are truly vulnerable. And let me define vulnerability here. Those are pregnant women. Those are children of low-income parents. Those are people in nursing homes. And those are disabled. That program will not change 1 inch. And the fact that the Democrats are trying to scare people with outright lies, bringing in people who are disabled, is absolutely wrong. And it's not the right thing to do. And I'm really hopeful that we can pass this bill as soon as possible so people will see that those vulnerable people will not lose their Medicaid. In fact, they're the most vulnerable people in our society. They deserve that coverage. But the person who does not deserve the coverage, and we're going to take it away, is from an illegal alien, a person who lied on the application to get free health care, or a person who's unwilling to work. Those are the only changes we're making. Medicaid is a legitimate system to help those people truly in need, and the Democrats need to line up and either read the bill or stop scaring people who really depend on Medicaid.
We've got about half a minute left. Do you think that these programs, because this is what it looks like the federal government is doing, that these should be basically state programs rather than federally funded programs?
Well, remember, this is a state and federal match. In my state of Florida, the federal government pays 60%, the state pays 40%, and so that's the situation that we're in. And so it's very different than what some people think. But I'll tell you what, the Obamacare is different. 90% is paid for by the federal government, only 10% for the state, and those people are not vulnerable. Those people have expanded the system, and they're not the ones most vulnerable. I want to take care of the most vulnerable and stop playing games with people who are in desperate need of these needed services.
You know, Congressman, one of the things that the Washington Times editorial board has been critical of this bill for, as well as others, is the IRA subsidies for wind and solar, that they don't phase out soon enough, and that they're adding pork to a bill that otherwise is unnecessary. Is there any possibility to phase those out quicker than what's in the bill, and is the Senate working toward that?
Well, I think the Senate is unfortunately trying to do the opposite. I think we should phase out these, what I would call Biden-era programs. We need as a healthy all-in solution, but we should not favor one over the other. We are really benefiting right now with lower gas prices because of the shale policies that President Trump put in his first administration. We're less reliant on Middle Eastern oil, etc. I'm very pleased in the direction we're going. We need to rely less on the Middle East, and that means more energy here in America. And we're going to make it happen with things like like nuclear. But you can't just constantly subsidize programs, because in the end, we, the taxpayer, pay for it one way or the other, either prices direct or indirect in taxes that subsidize these programs. I want to see a system that rewards innovation as opposed to subsidizing a less efficient system that the previous administration clearly did, paying political favorites.
We got to go, Congressman, but it's hot even for somebody from Florida. Is that a seersucker jacket? Is that what we're looking at here?
It is not seersucker, but it is beige, and it is hot as heck up here. It's actually hotter here than it is in Florida. I can't wait to get home.
Cooler in Florida. Congressman Mike Haridopolos, thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week.
Thank you. You too. All right.